Welcome to Bright Ideas TV. I'm Heather Wetzler.
And I'm Bob Resselman.
Each week, we focus on the bright, imaginative ideas that make a real difference in the way the world works. And who's this week's guest, Bob?
This week's guest is Bill Farrell. And Bill Farrell is going to talk to us about applying information patterns to streamline documentation systems and digital transaction management. But I think before we get to Bill, don't we have to do something, Heather?
We do. We really should mention our sponsor. So Bright Ideas TV is brought to you this week by DevOps.com. DevOps.com is where the modern world meets DevOps. DevOps.com, where the world meets DevOps.
That's great, Heather. So let me introduce Bill. Bill Farrell has been in and around product design and management for more than 14 years. For the last 3 years, he's held the position of Vice President of Product Management at HelloSign. HelloSign is a software service company focused on building powerful tools to help businesses simplify work by automating their most important document-based transactions. Over the course of his career, Bill has come to understand that any market is susceptible to immediate and dramatic disruption. Digital transaction management is no different. Bill's approach to applying information patterns to streamline documentation systems and digital transaction management is an important way to generate mission-critical information in the mobile-first world. So Heather, please join me in welcoming Bill Farrell to Bright Ideas TV.
Hi, Bill. How are you today?
Doing well, Heather. How are you? Hi, Bob.
Hey, Bill. How you doing? So, Bill, let's start at the beginning. So tell me, what's your bright idea and how did you come up with it?
Sure. So our bright idea is to reinvent document signing from a mobile-first world. And as you mentioned, working at HelloSign for the past 3 years, we've just come across a lot of customers that are unhappy with the user experience of signing documents on a mobile phone. And so we set out to sort of reinvent what that experience could look like.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back a step because this is really important. We want to be really clear. So what I'm hearing you say is that really the mobile-first world, the way documentation works on the mobile-first world is really pretty much different than the way it's worked before that world came around. Is that an accurate description?
Yeah, so what I would ask you to imagine is, have you ever filled out a PDF document on a mobile phone? You get a lease for a new house that you're renting, or filling out some government paperwork. You get sent a PDF and you are pinching and zooming. A PDF is essentially a digital piece of paper. And so that format doesn't lend itself well to today's mobile-first world. And so really what we were aiming for was to reinvent that user experience.
That's great. So tell me, what is this new experience going to be like?
Sure. So for one, we wanted it to be a responsive design. So regardless of what device you're signing the document on, we wanted it to be a great user experience. So for example, we wanted you to be able to actually read the text of the document that you're being asked to sign. So we wanted that text to be responsive, respect your phone's accessibility settings, and really just, that first and foremost allow you to read that document on any device. Second, there's a lot of times where, you're filling out information and you're asked to fill out the same thing multiple times. So if someone sends you a set of documents, how many times do you need to fill out your name or your address? It's redundant, and we believe that shouldn't be happening in 2018. So really, you know, you can fill out information once, and it fills out that field anywhere that field exists in the document. We also wanted to take advantage of some of the really rich integrations that exist these days. So our customers complain about data inaccuracies. So they're looking for a customer's address, and they fill it out, and they were looking for the 9-digit zip code, but they filled out the 5-digit zip code, and now they have to resend them that document in order to get the data in a format that they were expecting. So what our idea would do would tie into sources of truth like a Google Maps API or a USPS address lookup. And as you start to type your address, you could click on the one that matches, and the recipient of that data will receive it in the format that they need it to be in. So it greatly reduces errors in filling out the document.
Huh. That's really interesting. So what I'm hearing is, okay, so you're doing work with information patterns then. So you're saying that, look, there really is most document forms by nature are really about just it's the word is interesting. It's called a form, right? It's not called a letter. It's not called a memo. It's called a form. So there's a formula to that information. And that becomes interesting. Are you using any new technology to determine those information patterns, or are you using existing solutions?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're doing with this new idea is only showing relevant data to you. Have you ever done your taxes via TurboTax?
Yes. Well, I've done my taxes. Yeah. I continue to do my taxes. Yeah.
That's good, Bob.
Yeah.
So one of the great things that TurboTax does is they ask you plain English questions like, did you get married this year, or do you have any dependents? And you answer those questions, and they show you the relevant forms that you need to fill out based on your answers to these questions. So that's sort of the user experience that we come to expect. This is 2018, so we believe that we can provide a user experience like that for any complex document. So, for example, a lot of our early success has been with this gig economy type company. So, a company like Instacart that onboards tens of thousands of shoppers each month in order to to shop for grocery orders for their customers. So think about how many W-9s these contractors need to fill out. And if you think about a W-9, and I'm way too familiar with what the underlying W-9 form looks like, but there's really two different W-9 experiences. One that's applicable to individuals, and one that's applicable to businesses. And so most people don't need to see any of the fields that are relevant to businesses because they're filling this out as an individual. So with one simple question, hey, are you a person or a business? We're able to eliminate 2/3 of that document that you don't need to fill out, and really only focus the user on the portion of the document that's relevant to them.
Actually, that's very bright. That's very bright. So you're using human interaction beyond the textual format. You're saying, okay, let's have a conversation about what you're doing. The conversation might be between a web page and a person as opposed to AI interaction. But you're really saying, okay, let's conduct a conversation, and based on the patterns in that conversation, I'll do the form for you. So like you said earlier, it's just like going to HR Block. It's like HR Block. The lady sits down and says, "Okay, so you got your W-2s. Okay. Are you short form, easy form?" And you can take the conversation from there. That's good. That's really imaginative. That's really imaginative. So
how would I use it today or now? So is it an app that I download?
Yeah, so today we have our platform right now is open to developers. So a developer could come in, create an account, and create these document workflows and deploy them in their own products or tools. Coming soon, we've built a no-code editor so that any business user, any non-technical user can create an account and create really rich, powerful document workflows without a line of code. And so that was one of our primary goals all along with the project, was to empower any non-technical business process owner to create these rich workflows and send them out to their customers or people that need to sign these documents.
Yeah, that's and so wait. So you mentioned there is a developer program. So where do developers go? Is there a URL or something they can go to?
Sure. Yeah, they can go to helloworks.com.
Hello, excuse me.
Helloworks.com.
Like
HelloWorks.com.
Right, like helloworks.com. Helloworks.com. Again, in case any of the viewing audience misses it, it's helloworks.com. All right. So that's really interesting. So what as a developer, what will I be able to do with what you're offering?
Yeah, so right now a developer would be able to come in, read our API documentation, and create these create forms for any document workflow that's part of their product. And you'll need to write code in order to generate these forms, and then you would need to write code to integrate the form into your product. And that was more of a temporary solution. The end goal here was always to build a self-service tool that a business person, a non-technical user, could log in, drag and drop the questions, like to use the W-9 as an example again, to be able to ask a plain English question. Are you an individual or a business? And based on that input, say, okay, you need to fill out questions 2 through 8 now, or if they answered they're a business, they need to fill out questions 9 through 13. And in our builder, our non-technical user product empowers them to do that without a line of code. Wow.
Wow. That's really interesting. So Heather, can you see yourself like becoming like a HelloWorks API developer once they solve the coding problem?
I like the no code part, so that's something I could use.
Yeah, I'd like the whole world to be a no code part.
That was really important for us because when you think about only a portion of the population are developers or have technical knowledge to write code. The vast majority of people that actually own business processes, like someone in HR that onboards a new employee and needs them to fill out their onboarding paperwork, these are non-technical folks, and they want something like a no-code editor to be able to drag and drop to create these rich, powerful workflows.
So what's not to like here? We have forms based on information patterns that are going to pretty much can have a conversation to get the information you want. We're offering a way for developers to get involved, and Heather's going to be able to do it too. And once you get Heather on board, the whole world works out. And then you got a serious adoption issue here. You're not going to be able to handle the volume.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're talking big volume. So that's great. We're coming to a close of our time, Bill. I really got to thank you. I mean, I really like this notion of documentation fulfillment as conversation. I think it's a very powerful idea, and it's really going to make a dramatic difference in the way the world works. So thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Heather. Really enjoyed being here.
So Heather, I have a question. Are we going to be here next week?
We are not going to be here next week because next week is the holiday weekend for Memorial Day weekend, but we'll be here the Friday after that. And who's our guest then, Bob?
Oh, our guest then is, believe it or not, Charles Petzold. Charles Petzold, the noted author and programmer who's now at Microsoft and started the whole Windows programming paradigm. He's going to be talking about how he came up with the idea to do his book, Code. So that'll be next week, June 1st, 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 6 o'clock Central, live on YouTube Live, archived for recording later, archived for viewing later. Look, my words are going everywhere, Heather. They're going everywhere. We will be on June 1st, and you should come back to see Petzold. It proves to be exciting. So I'm Bob Resselman.
And I'm Heather Wetzler, and you've been watching Bright Ideas TV.
la, la.